for Darrell Green's son, Mr. J. Green. Come on, clap your hands. Clap your hands. Hold up, Jay. I said get up for Darrell Green's son, J. Green,
what up?
Washington, D.C.
Hey, before he leaves, man, can we give a big round of applause for this man right here, the Cuban cigar smoker, Antonio. Just make some noise for this man. Let me tell you why. My dad and I are in L.A. a few months ago, and we see him late night by the pool smoking a Cuban cigar. I don't even know if you're allowed to do that. Dad wasn't smoking. He said he wasn't smoking.
He wasn't smoking, that's true.
He did not partake. But Antonio goes, man, I heard you getting your jersey retired, man. We're like, yeah, man, appreciate it. He said, man, do you have a key to the city? We're like, no, we don't have that. And he goes, man, let me make some phone calls. Now, normally someone says that, and then you walk away like, that dude's tripping. A week later, Lindsay from the mayor's office calls and says, hey, we're going to do it. So shout out to this man. Shout out to this man.
It's just love for Mr. Green. That's all it is.
Real eyes recognize real. And he saw that and he said, I want to put these guys in a great opportunity, a great situation. And so because of that, salute to you, brother. All right, let's make some noise, man. All right, so look, I'm going to be brief. But does anybody know my dad's greatest stat of all time? What's his greatest stat? No, that's not a stat. That's a highlight. What's the greatest stat ever? Can all the grandkids stand up? Where the grandkids at? Where the grandkids at? Where the kids at? I'm one. Joy, Darrell, Crystal, Joanna, Sam, Ross. The greatest stat that Darrell Green ever had on paper is us. It's us. It's us. Hey, listen. We're standing here in the middle of a city of monuments and statues. Monuments and statues. This is a monumental moment, but he ain't a statue. He's been active. This is a man. So what I want y'all to do is celebrate this man today. A man who builds men and builds generations and generations and generations. I've met so many of y'all that have either been in the Learning Center, been a part of the foundation, have met him on the way, met him at the games, and all of y'all have been impacted not just by the football, but by his character, and even more so, his intentionality. He'll give anybody time, because he loves this city. Sometimes we forget that he's not from this city. And so I want to give you your flowers as you hold one of your grandchildren today. What I'm so happy about is we don't have to wait around for your statue. I'm sure there's going to be a couple, but we get to celebrate a man. And what's most important is y'all need to hear this. He's complete. He's complete. These are additions, and we appreciate additions. But this man is complete because God is honored in his life and his love for his family. My mother, Jewel Green, stand up and say what's up to everybody before I get you up on this mic. And I know he's going to shout out some very important people, so I'm not going to shout y'all out just yet. But it's the greatest honor in my life. The greatest honor in my life is to honor this man. To honor this man. Why? Why is this important? Because all this other stuff will fade. There'll never be another 28 again. But all the other things will fade. But one thing that stands is the love that he has for this city, the love that he has for his family, the love that he has for y'all, and the love that he has for God. I'm going to get off this mic because it ain't about me. It's about DG. Can I get a D, G, D, G, D, G, D, G? Let's go, baby!
All right, I got to introduce somebody to the stage. I need everybody to show love. Every time I introduce somebody on the stage, all we need is love. Who needs love up in here? Who needs love? Well, I love y'all. How about that? So now I need you to give love to everybody that comes to the podium and come to talk. Without further ado, please give it up for Miss Kimberly O'Neill. She's going to give us some remarks. I need love, DC.
Good morning, everybody. I rarely get nervous, but I've been given 5 minutes to talk about Darrell Green's service to others. 5 minutes isn't nearly enough time to do him justice, but I knew this moment was too important. So while I typically don't write out my remarks, I prepared some words because I want to make sure I make the most of my time. It is an immense honor to stand before you today, not just as Kimberly O'Neill, director of the Green Family Foundation, but as a representation of the charitable and humanitarian work of Darrell and Jewel Green, their family, and the staff and volunteers of the former Darrell Green Youth Life Foundation and learning centers around the country. Together, we have touched the lives of countless people, but more specifically, thousands of children throughout the Washington, D.C. area. I've had the privilege of knowing Mr. Green as my boss, my client, my mentor, my friend, and part of my chosen family. I've worked with him and his family for nearly 20 years in service to communities, and I can tell you this, when you talk about Darrell Green, you're talking about a man whose life is grounded in faith, family, and service. Now, I've probably sounded like a broken record throughout the planning process of this event, reminding everyone on every call that it is indeed an honor for Mr. Green to be celebrated on this level. But we cannot talk about Darrell Green without acknowledging his life beyond football. And Mayor Bowser, I just want to thank you and your fantastic team for hearing that clarion call and helping to ensure that as we honor him today, we could also center Mr. Green's unwavering commitment to Washington, D.C., the community, and to all of those who have worked to serve him. Yes, we honor his football career, but to truly understand his legacy, we must talk about the man who is a humanitarian, a philanthropist, and a servant leader. Knowing Darrell Green has leveraged the game of football to serve others means understanding that every aspect of his life is rooted in service. I remember when nearly 20 years ago, Mr. Green interviewed me to lead his foundation. And if you know Mr. Green, you know that he likes to draw things like literally out on paper when he's talking. During that conversation, as he shared the foundation's impact, I asked, "What are you telling me?" And it was at that moment he pushed the paper to the side, and we began talking about not the business or logistics, but about the legacy, about what the foundation truly meant and how it serves the people. That conversation set the tone for everything that I've done. Today, as we celebrate his legacy, I represent all who have walked alongside him on this journey. I represent the leaders who have learned from Mr. Green what it means to show up and lead with honor, to take on the responsibility of serving others. I am also a representation of everyone who has grown in their leadership abilities under his tutelage, where he provided us the space and grace to learn, to miss the mark at times, and to grow stronger from those experiences. I also represent the community organizations, especially our long-term community partners and advocates for children, many of whom are deeply rooted in the fabric of our communities. In our world, they are the true unsung heroes Mr. Green has prioritized because they aren't consistently recognized. Yet they are trusted and relied upon by the communities to provide an invaluable service. I represent the tough conversations, the gentle corrections, and the shared moments of faith. I also represent the countless phone calls and conversations made to gently remind others what showing up for youth really means. I am the representation of every plan sketched on paper, every moment of quiet generosity, and every act of service that has defined Mr. Green's legacy. I represent every footstep we've taken on Capitol Hill and beyond to advocate for the needs of communities serving youth. So today, I'm not just speaking about Darrell Green and the football legend, but I'm speaking about Darrell Green, the person, the humanitarian who has always stepped in when families and communities needed him the most. I represent the educators who chose to work in our programs and the parents, grandparents, and guardians who found support through his efforts. I represent the children who have benefited from personal conversations with him about character and responsibilities. I represent our motto, nurture the child, strengthen the family, and rebuild the community. As Mr. Green has always said, we are an extension. We are here to support, lift, and serve alongside families. We are all a manifestation of his and Jewel's unwavering belief that honor and community can and must coexist. This moment is not just about celebrating Mr. Green, but honoring everyone who has contributed to his immense vision. Boy. And as I close, I want to share something Mr. Green has told me. Words that guide me. He said, giving back to people isn't a part of my business. It's a part of my business. It is not done separately. Honor, service, and business can coexist, and all are respected. They are all valuable. So as we honor Darrell Green today, know that this is about much more than a jersey retirement and the key to the city. It's about recognizing a man who has spent his life to serve others and given over 40 years right here in Washington, D.C. So as I stand here, I do also on behalf of all of us who have been a part of this journey and whose lives have forever been changed by his legacy of service. And for that, Mr. Green, I thank you for trusting me and all of us. This is for sure, one of the greatest honors of my lifetime. Thank you.
All right, I need to introduce somebody to the stage. Come here and give you a second. Hey, don't forget, we're about love this morning, D.C. At this time, I would like to bring Mitch Rails to the mic. Give it up for Mitch Rails, y'all. Come on, clap, 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 clap.
Good morning, everyone. Wow. Did anybody know that my lucky number is 28? We love 28 in this town. So first things first, Mayor Bowser, you're here somewhere. Thank you so much for getting this weekend kicked off. And what we're about to do is about as special as they come. So on behalf of Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, Mark Ein, David Blitzer, myself, the Commanders organization, and all the fans everywhere around the DMV and everybody else who loves our Washington Commanders, thanks for having me today. Everybody needs to know that a great man doesn't become great by himself. He becomes great because he has a support group around him that's second to none. He got this woman named Jewel. Hey, Jewel. How'd you do it for 39 years? Unbelievable. And we all know what happened during those 39 years. There were great moments and moments that were tough, but man, oh man, you persevered and look what you did. And then there's Crystal, there's Darrell, there's Jared, and there's Joy. And that support group of kids who probably made you guys crazy is fantastic. And by the way, that support group of kids, there's 17 grandchildren right now, including little Ivy, who was born on Wednesday, and Joy's got one coming next week when she gets induced. Okay, so let's do the math. Let's get the math right here. Four kids, 18 grandkids, that's 22 players. We got an offensive set and a defensive set. It's unbelievably strategic what the Green family came up with. So what's this weekend all about? It's about our buddy Darrell Green. Darrell, we love you. You know it from the bottom of our heart. You were the first guy I called when we took control of the franchise, and this is a day that's been a long time coming. It's special for the city, too. But let's just talk about a few of the stats. I mean, Darrell knows all this, but let's just go over a few of the things that have happened over this incredible, illustrious 20-year career. Darrell, in 1983, you were Rookie of the Year. All right. You still hold the franchise record for most seasons played and most games played at 295. You had 54 career intersections, 6 of which were returned for touchdowns. You intercepted passes in 19 consecutive seasons. Let me repeat that. 19 consecutive seasons. If I were a betting man, I would say this is a record that's never, ever going to be broken. You have the longest fumble recovery for a touchdown at 78 yards. You played in 4 Super Bowls, and you brought 2 Lombardi trophies back to D.C. You were named All-Pro 4 times and voted to 7 Pro Bowls. All right. Does anyone feel the need for speed? I do. The 40-yard dash in 1986 in 4.09 seconds. And as a result, he won the fastest man in the NFL 4 record times. And finally, all of these things led you to an induction. In 2008, you got the honor of a lifetime going into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Now, we all have Darrell Green stories, but I have to tell one. And work with me a little bit on this because it's not quite what you think, but it's important. Let me set the stage for you. It's a cold, blustery day in Chicago in 1988, and we're playing the Bears for the NFC Divisional Championship. Mike Ditka is the coach. Jim McMahon is the quarterback and had won 28 of his last 29 starts. And the great Walter Payton is in the backfield. You can't make this stuff up. It was in the third quarter when the score was tied 14-14. And everybody knows the Bears were heavily favored in this game. And Coach Joe Gibbs pulled out his playbook secret weapon. He said, Darrell, I need you to go in and return a punt. All right, you know where I'm going with this. He catches the ball on his own 48-yard line. He runs down the right sideline, leaps over a player, hustles to the left. 52 yards later, he puts the ball down in the end zone. And we all know the history. 21-17. But what happened was you brought us back to RFK for the championship NFC game where we whipped the Minnesota Vikings. And you gave us a berth to Super Bowl 22. How about that? Now, we all know what happened in Super Bowl 22. There was a little obliteration that took place, you know, with the help of Darrell and a young quarterback who only had a few starts in his career by the name of Doug Williams. 42-10. But that's not what this story is really about. As great as that punt return was, and the things that happened, I think the greatest moment for me that came out of this was, Darrell, had you not returned that punt for a touchdown in Chicago, we would never have had the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Doug Williams. You changed the course of history by returning that punt for a touchdown. That is just a remarkable, remarkable thing. God was looking down on us that day. So, you know, we all know that a great guy on the field is one thing, but you don't get the key to the city just because you've got some of these nice accolades and statistics on the field. You get the key to the city because you've done a lot for the community. And it all started in 1996 when Darrell got the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. And we all know that's about philanthropy and community impact. So I just want to read a couple things to you that talks about what Darrell has done in these areas. Find my notes here. All right. Darrell, you started the Green Family Foundation, which provides educational programs through learning centers that help equip young kids everywhere to address all the crazy obstacles that they're going to be confronted with in life. You then went on to found the Darrell Green Business Council that supports all these same educational programs. And if that wasn't enough, you became a trust captain for the NFL, where football players assist all of their peers in dealing with all the challenges they will encounter after football. Then you were selected to serve as chair of President Bush's Council on Civic and Civic Participation. You then served as a board member for Wolf Trap Foundation as its national spokesperson for education. You also served in this great city as a board member for the Washington, D.C. Board of Trade. Darrell, the key to this city is being given to you because of both on-field and off-field performance, as well as your commitment to D.C. for 40 plus years. Unbelievable. So I just want to end with one quote. It's an important quote. It's a quote that came from Jared, his son, when Darrell was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I quote, "The definition of a true Hall of Famer is someone who is great at everything. My dad was a great football player. Yeah, right? But he's an even better man, son, brother, father, friend, businessman, and most importantly, a man of God." So Darrell, as great as this city is, and the key that you're going to get, I can't wait to see you tomorrow, man, because we're going to honor you one more time. We're going to make sure that no one, but no one, will ever wear this number again on the field. Congratulations.
Really, DC? You can't do better than that, now. Southside, you can't do better than that, now. Uptown, you can't do better than that, now. Northeast, you can't do better than that, yeah. Southwest, oh yeah, Southwest. You know that's the big boss right there. Listen, it is a pleasure for me to bring somebody that I consider a real good friend, always represent this city, one of the greatest running backs ever do it. Get up for Brian Mitchell!
Good morning. How y'all doing? All right, I was asked to say a few words here, and I'm going to speak from my heart because I'd rather go there because that's where the meaning comes from. I got here in 1990, young, brash little guy who, Darrell will tell you, I didn't listen to nobody. I didn't do anything anybody told me, not outwardly. But I would always take stuff to heart. Darrell and Tim Johnson would always say different things to me, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I took those things in. And as I began to grow, I began to think about when I was a young man, I always looked at the people that my mom and dad smiled about. I had 4 brothers, 2 sisters, and not every one of those brothers and sisters were doing the right things. So when I see my mom and dad smile, I began to do more of what those people were doing. I get to Washington, D.C., and I watch Darrell. I watch people like Ray Brown, doing the things that you're supposed to do. And I began to follow those leads. I don't tell them, I'm just imitating and trying to emulate what they're doing because if Coach Gibbs is happy about it, it must be something good. And as I began to think about stuff, I had a coach named David Culley back in the day. He told me, you can't be a leader just in the public. You got to be a leader all the time. And when you hear all the stories today about Darrell, that means this young man, I call him young man, he's a little older than me, a little bit. He was doing the right thing. And as everyone says, the football accolades are everyone knows that. But what he became as a man, I think, is more important than the football. Because when you begin to impact people and make, young, old, you make people begin to change their lives and begin to think they can do better, that's when you're doing the work of God, in a sense. I was told at an early age, you go somewhere, you establish yourself, and people come visit you. You don't always have to move back home. You hear people say, when you going to move back home? This is home for me. It's been home 41 years for him. I've been here for 34 years. And the way I look at it is you go somewhere and you try to show who you are. You take the upbringing of your mom and dad and the people around you, you go somewhere and you begin to do the things to make other people see what you're about. And I think Darrell has done that. You know, I sit here now as a 56-year-old man, and I still look at him and I'm amazed by the things you do, brother. You know, I watch the people he impact. I watch the young kids that look up to him. And when you're 60-ish, I'm not going to when you see little kids knowing who you are, it says a lot about you. You know, young kids today, they think the world started when they picked up their little Google. They don't look beyond. They don't look at history, but they know about this man here. You know why? Because everyone is discussing it. You know, you get Mitchell Rails come up here and talk as eloquently as he did for Darrell. You know why? Because he's a great man. You know, I look at his family. Jared is my buddy. He hasn't come back and seen me since we rode 50 miles on the bike, though. But I look at the family, and you see how happy they are. A lot of times you can tell about a man just by looking at his family. See if they're smiling. See if they're jovial, if they're happy. And when you see his wife, Jewel, at all times, and all of his kids, grandkids, got a lot of them. I'm trying to catch up. When you see all of that, you begin to know how good that man is. And there, I'll tell you, like I said to you on the radio the other day, I thank you. Because the man I've become is because watching people like you, watching people like Ray, people like Monty, you know, guys that I really look up to. My dad passed away after my first year in the league. And you begin to look for guidance. And you were one of those guys that helped guide me along the way. Hate when I cry in the public. I try to be tough all the time. But the whole thing is, bro, I love you. And I want you to keep doing the things you do because there's no Brian Mitchell, the complete man, without a Darrell Green. Thank y'all.
You know that's Brian Mitchell, right? You can do better than that, right? All right. Coming to the stage. Let me explain something to you so you understand. This is real talk right now. There's no way, there's absolutely no way that this doesn't happen if the mayor of Washington, D.C. says it's going to happen. Y'all didn't hear me. They heard me, but y'all didn't hear me. I said this doesn't happen if the great mayor of Washington, D.C. doesn't say it's going to happen. She's all about the District of Columbia. She's all about representing D.C. She's all about you. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please show your love for the mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser.
Hello, D.C. I want to say good morning to everybody, and I want to give a big shout out to Commander Nation. I am so proud to welcome you to the sports capital to honor a Washington legend on and off the field, Mr. Darrell Green. I want to give a big acknowledgement and thank you to the Green family, the Commanders. I want to say thank you to Mitch Rails. Let's give a big shout out to Mitch Rails. We were proud when Mitch joined the team that purchased the Commanders, but we've been so proud of Mitch because he decided when there weren't a lot of big companies in downtown Washington that he would locate his Fortune 5 company, Donna Hair, right here in Washington, D.C. I know that there are going to be a lot of former players in town this weekend, and I am just happy to welcome them all so that they can remember, like we all do, the days when the Washington football team was winning Super Bowls. Darrell is a hero to Washington, and as I told him yesterday, I don't know if he's adopted us, but we have adopted him as an honorary Washingtonian. And he gets it, and he gets us. And part of the reason why he gets us is the real MVP of the Green family, Mrs. Jewel Green. Thank you, Jewel. You may not know this, but she is our home girl from Petworth. And I got a funny feeling that that's the reason that the Green family never left us. Jewel Green. Darrell played for 20 years in Washington, D.C. And there are not too many people that can say they've had an NFL career that long. And longtime Washingtonians like me and you and a whole bunch of us remember those days where Darrell Green thrilled us from day one. We know that he was the 4-time NFL fastest man. We already knew he was going to chase down his opponents. We love to watch the interception. We love to watch our team in the Super Bowl. We love to be, you know where, at RFK. So you know me. I like to give the people what they want. We're proud that Darrell is a Hall of Famer and all those records and championships. We love his consistency, and we love what he's accomplished off the field and all the lives that he has changed. Darrell and his wife founded the Green Foundation in 1988. And just this past summer, they worked with the D.C. Housing Authority to make sure that more than 100 of our kids could go to training camp with the Washington Commanders. As Darrell has said, there are some things that never fade, and that's how you touch young people. And that's what's in my heart, his quote. So, Darrell, you represent D.C. values. You represent the D.C. spirit. Scrappy, fast, underestimated, and a champion. So today, my friends, whereas Darrell Green is a legendary athlete who played in the National Football League for 20 seasons, whereas Darrell Green is considered by sports enthusiasts to be one of the greatest cornerback to have ever played in the NFL. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2008, and whereas Darrell Green set many records during his decorated football career, including 2 Super Bowls, the NFL fastest man 4 times, and the winner and undefeated fastest man. Darrell Green was the last player selected in the first round of the 1983 NFL Draft. Yet, during his very first preseason game against the Atlanta Falcons, he returned a punt for 61 yards and a touchdown, leaving spectators speechless. During the last game of his career in December 2002 against the Dallas Cowboys, Darrell made a record gain of 35 yards, the longest game of any player in his 40s in the NFL's career. Darrell Green founded the foundation in 1988 to help children develop into the leaders that we know. And whereas Darrell Green is not only a football icon and a community supporter, but an excellent example of what can be accomplished with hard work, persistence, teamwork, service, and integrity. It's my pleasure now as your mayor to do something I've only done just a handful of times before. I got to tell you, I'm stingy with this key. This key represents the spirit of Washington, and it's my honor today to introduce the Darrell Green with the key to Washington, D.C. And tomorrow, you know what those commanders are going to do? Win. But they are going to retire number 28. They're going to retire that jersey, but nobody can retire this spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, Darrell Green.
Wow. So let me just say, Mayor Muriel Bowser is the chief official here in the greatest city in the world. And to be given the key to this, the greatest city in the world. Come on, man, you kidding me? Thank you. Before I get into my remarks, I would like for Bailey to stand up somewhere out there. Bailey Green. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Come on out here, Bailey. Happy birthday, dear Bailey. Right there, Bailey. Turn around. To you. Give it up. Oh, get a picture, y'all. Get a picture. Bailey Bubbles. And I'm the only one can call her baby Bailey Bubbles. You can't. Wow. So, let me say I want to thank Mitch Rails. Mitch is, this big, powerful owner, but he's a human being. He is a friend to our family, whether they do this or not. He's a friend of ours, and I'm so grateful. Brian Mitchell, dude, I remember when you was a little bad boy. But you're right. You got that thing right. Kimberly O'Neill, Jewel and I's lifetime friend. You say, who is she? What is she up here for? Now you know. This is family. And last but not least, that dude back there that stole my hair. The Greens actually have hair. I don't know what happened. But Jared, I just want to say to the public, man, I love you so much. You and Darrell and Joy and Crystal, y'all are literally a dream from a childhood. And I just thank God for each one of y'all. Give it up for all my kids, Jared, and all of them. Appreciate you, man. So, can I just take my time for a minute? Yeah. So, I do want to introduce my folks. The first person I want to introduce is she would represent us as the matriarch of our family from my mom, Miss Edith Howard. It's coming from Houston, Texas. Will you please stand, please? That's my aunt. Now, I have to tell y'all this, and she can just whoop me when I get off here, but she is 20 years older than me, and you can see where the balling comes from. The ball, not the ball head, the ball out is. You see how we do? Uncle John, will you stand up too, sir? Now, that's Uncle John. He's the baby child in their family. They're the last two in my mom's family. Uncle John said he played cornerback, but I've never seen any evidence of it. But maybe he did. I don't know. Can everybody with my sister, the matriarch of my mama's family, Linda and Elmore Flanagan, and all of your crew from Houston, stand up right there. They don't have as many grandkids as I do, but they got a bunch of them. My brother Lester's kids are here. Will y'all stand as well? Lester, he passed away a few years ago. Little Lester, stand on out here, big guy. Give it up for them. He came from California, Los Angeles, California. I'm number 5, number 6 with my brother Terry Green. Kathy, where y'all at? There y'all are. There y'all are. My daddy used to call him the professor. He's like, yeah, man, I can name all the bones in the body. I'm only 3rd grade. Man, sit down somewhere. I'm going to play football. I can't spell nothing. Where am I at? Am I? Oh, my gosh. I have this written down. I want to say to my little sister, Deborah Varan Green, look at little goody two-shoes. How you like me now? Deborah and your kids, y'all stand up, stand up. Yeah, that's her, y'all, right there. Yeah, goody two-shoes. Yeah, little goody two-shoes. That's what I used to be. But I used to fight her every day, though. And I won. My little brother that's a little bigger than me now, and Dana and your crew, stand up, boy. That's Reginald Green right there. Yeah. All right. So y'all already know. Hamilton Street, 5th and Hamilton, over there in the cut, down there by Howard, by the Church's Chicken, by the fire department, they live right by the fire department. That's where I used to be hanging out. I parked my car on Hamilton, go down there to the little school and play basketball, go back to my future mother-in-law's house, and ask her for some food. My old teammate Bernadine used to go over there too. I just found that out. Now, why are you going over there to ask her for food? She ain't your mother-in-law to be. Be quiet. So, all right, did I miss any of my crew? String it out. Oh, I got to hit on my children's in-law side. Sam, stand up. That's my son, too. Sam Everett. Jeremy Ross. And, of course, y'all can see. Stand up right now, Sam. Stand up. You know I'm going to do it. They both got big muscles. My daughter's like muscles. My wife just like, okay, you ain't got nothing. But everybody know, no apologies, the queen. There she goes. Stand up right there. All right. And for that crew, last but not least, you don't know this person. This is my first kid, Crystal Shante Green Carlton and her crew. Shelton Carlton. And my big boys, Texas Southern. Y'all got to come up here and play Howard. And Junior, and Honey, and Jaylyn came up in this joint from Texas and from Georgia. So that's all of my crew. That's the seventh. Oh, Darrell. If this is on TV, Darrell is at home. You just mentioned she had the baby. At home with her mother-in-law. Darrell, I don't know if you're here, you can see us, but we love you. And then Joy, the one that is primarily, not totally responsible for the baldness. Joy, the baby, stand up so they can see you as well. She's about to have a baby here in a minute as well. One rule you had in my house. You got to get married and have kids. And everybody said, okay. So everybody's still here. Because I'll put you out. All right. All right, chick. The girl that I met. Tyson's Corner Mall. Tyson's ought to pay me. I be saying their name so much. But we met. Christmas Eve, my rookie year. This dude, I mentioned him twice. I shouldn't have done this. But Vernon Dean, I was with him. And so we went to the mall. I was crying. I was talking to Debbie, and I was crying. I'd never been away on Christmas. And Vernon said, man, what's up? And we went to the mall, and then she asked me my name. And I said, excuse me? No, actually, as I get to that, I want to recognize my brother-in-law, Rudy, who actually did ask me my name. Well, he said my name. Where you at, Rudy? Where's Rudy? Is he here? I don't see him. Rudy and Robin, Greg and Cheryl, Erica, y'all here? All right, stand up, man. Stand up. Y'all, this y'all city. Look, Greg, y'all from here. Come on, man. Ain't nobody in the crowd you like trying to hide out from. Like, man, I don't want Joe to see me. I do want to shout out 600 block of Hamilton Street, Petworth United Methodist, where I got married. Franklin Commons, the First Learning Center. Washington View. Anacostia Park, where we used to do those parties in the park with kids. Barry Farms in the house. The D.C. Housing Authority, Greenleaf, we just balled out the other day. Me and Brian was over there last weekend. Y'all in the house? The first organization I ever did any real life work with, the D.C. Recreation Department. Back then. Brian Carpenter, me and Marshall Cropper, we got it done, and that's what got me into this city at a deeper level. RFK Stadium, I'm just saying names out. RFK. Just RFK. I wrote stuff down. RFK, just say RFK. Fire department, police department, I know them all. The police department used to let me go to RFK up the one way. Hey, dog, I'm late. Come on, can I go? Man, let me go through. Ray, did you do that too? I see you over there laughing. Hey, man, come on, I'm Darrell Green, man. Come on, man, they about to kick the game off. Plus, I got to give me a hot dog. Unique Learning Centers, Sherry Woods, Mundrell Jacob Ministries. Man, all these people, that's how I got it done, man. That's how we mobilize to try to help. And the work isn't finished. There's so much more to do. But, man, I tell you, I tell my family, honestly, I deliberately stayed here. It wasn't an accident. God told me to stay, I stayed. And you guys can see I couldn't come home every week. I can't build this kind of, what? Can't build this. I did it deliberately. I had to do what God told me to do. But I love my family. I miss y'all. But I just want you to know I did what I had to do. Did what God told me to do. But this is my people. This is my people. So I'm going to shut up here in a minute here. Yeah, this is my city too. I'm one of y'all. When them little boys, you say, hey, what up, Shaw? I'm like, what does they mean? You mean shorty? Hey, what up, Shaw? I'm like, man, I don't know what he's saying. And he didn't know what I was saying either from Texas either in the beginning. I wasn't no Fred Smoot, though. Hey, look here, man. It's my day, right? Yeah. Fred know I love him. Fred know I love him. So, what does this mean? The mayor said it. Mitch said it. Everybody said it. Man, I was balling out on the football field, but you don't get no dumb key for no balling out. We'll give you a key, man. You better have been bringing it. We only had one day off from Joel. No, we was in D.C. trying to make something happen for young people. That's who we were created to be. That's who we are. We had to do our job, and I would have got another job if they would have got rid of me, because the job is the job. But the work that we had to do, and God has called us to do, it's kind of like today is like, the Bible says that the ark of God was the presence of God on the earth. The Spirit of God is on the earth and his people, but it was the presence of God, and they carried it in like a big old box or something. I don't know, but you couldn't touch the box, so they stuck poles into it, and four people, I guess, walked with it. But if it's almost falling, matter of fact, a guy touched it, and he died. You couldn't touch it. And you know what? All this balling and all of y'all, this ain't even natural. I see you, Talia. All this balling and stuff and all this that we're doing, this ain't even natural. But the great thing about me, I didn't touch it. I didn't drink any of it. Ain't no chick gonna come here and say nothing. Didn't touch it. It's God's anointing. It's what now, because I didn't touch it. Brian, somebody said that standing up here. We get to use it more and more and more. We have greater access and greater resources and greater influence to bring about the kingdom of God, to bring about blessings for people, because I did not touch it. I did not touch the thing that was forbidden to touch. That's the key. What does it mean? It also means, there's some I used to say in football, I used to call it the right now moment. See, I didn't get a scholarship. So when I knew I was going to go and try out for the team, I didn't know when he might let me get in the field, but I knew that I was going to be prepared for the right now moment. And I knew this, and like you know, right now is any time I call your name. So the 5th game, 9th game, 8th practice, 7th game, 15, if you say my name, that's what? Right now. And guess what? I'm ready for right now. I maintain a readiness for right now to walk in God's truth and righteousness. In football, I was ready. That Chicago game, y'all know, Joe said, hey, I come in the huddle, they say, hey, D, you got the punt return if we get out of here on 3rd right now. You got the punt return. Oh, I got it? Coach, can I? No, you got it. You got to go back there and run it. You got to deliver on it. So we are in the right now moment. All of us have the opportunity to stop touching it and to make it sacred and to get out there and try and impact the next man, a woman, boy, or girl in your family, in your community. Get ready. So I want to close like this. I want all of you to take this a metaphoric piece of bread. Where's my key? This is a metaphoric key for y'all is real for me. Everybody take, I'm going to break this. God bless this. Let it be beneficial to millions as I live and as others live. So I blessed it. But now I want you to metaphorically hold your hand up. Hold it up. I'm going to give everybody a piece of this from putting it in your hand. Grab it. Take it. Take it in your hand. You all have a piece of this key. And I want you may not have all this, but you get a little one in your backyard with your family or something. I don't care. But you all have a piece of this metaphorically, but realistically for you to go out. And you can't play like me. I can't even play like me either. You can't run like I ran. But I guarantee you we can all, what did Dr. King say? He said we can all serve. Who can't serve? Say me if you can't serve. Who can serve? Well, let's go serve our neighbors, brothers. God bless all of y'all. Thank you. Big round of applause for our mayor. Come on up here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Greens and Flanagans and Avents and all y'all last names and all y'all people for coming. Thank you. Turn it over to you.
Come on, DC. That's Darrell Green now. Y'all can do better than that now.